Welcome to another episode of Prime TV. In this tutorial, we will initiate a series of videos for PrimeNG Theme Designer. In the first part, we will cover what PrimeNG Theme Designer does, what it is actually, and get started with the visual editor, and then move on to the more advanced stuff like the code editor and customizing the fonts and even more advanced customization. So PrimeNG Theme Designer is an Angular CLI application actually. The PrimeNG is a design agnostic library. You know, it's not just Angular, it applies to other UI libraries as well. Usually the author of the UI library picks a certain style like Material or Bootstrap or other ones, so that you can have Angular material. On the React side, you have React material and Vue for Vue as well. And for Bootstrap, you have NG Bootstrap, NGX Bootstrap, NG React Strap, Vue Strap, and things like that. But the idea of PrimeNG is that theming is not tied to the functionalities. We have our own theming engine so that we can come up with material themes, bootstrap themes, our own themes, plus your own themes from the same tool. That's called the theme designer. So the functionality is separated from the styling. So the PrimeNG theme designer, as I mentioned, is an Angular CLI application. Once you download it from the Prime store, I'm going to use the PrimeNG designer version 11. So let's open the zip file and let's fire up our VS Code and open it. So let's say it's a regular CLI application. We have this source folder. The app, it includes a basic layout for a visual editor, so these parts covered it, but you will be interested in mostly the SAS folder, where we have the core designer folder that includes styling for all components. So to initiate it, let's initiate it like this. First run npm install. This will download internet, and then since it's a CL application, I will be able to run it in my local environment. It is actually the same application you see here, primeface.org designer.ng. So this is the online version where you can start with one of our pre-built themes like the Prime One light, dim and dark, Bootstrap light, Bootstrap dark, Material light, Material dark, Fluent light, and Soho themes. So PrimeNG, the standard npm distribution, provides the CSS of these themes. If you like to customize them with SAS and variables and things like that, you need a license of the PrimeNG theme designer. Of course, it's not mandatory. One way is that just using the themes as they are. The other alternative is, overriding the themes that provided. But it's not the easiest way, because you will find just to change one color, you need to override it in different components in different places. But with the PrimeNG theme designer, it's just one changing. It's a matter of just changing one variable. So let's see how our okay. Now let's call ng-serve, and it will just compile, and then we will be able to run it in our local environment. So designer comes in two modes. One is the visual mode, which is the same as what you see on the web, which is the designer.ng application. Visual editor is a great way to quickly prototype what you need, like changing colors, playing with border radiuses, borders, and things like that. Of course, each theme provides a certain set of variables to play with, but the other mode, the code editor mode, is just the advanced part where you have full access to the SAS API. Let's check what it is. I think it's like 500 variables of fully documented API, where you can, let's say, fonts. If you like to change the font that the theme uses, then you need to override the font family. The font size has its own variables and things like that. So these are the global ones. Let's say if you like to change the background of the calendar, which is the default white one for the default theme. And here you can, for example, if you'd like to change the slider borders, then you have your own variable for that. All of these are documented and searchable in their own online documentation. So let's fire up this one. Okay. So the initial screen just wants me to pick up pre-built theme. These are the ones that we have done, and the CSS of these themes, except Soho, which is only exclusive to the PrimeNG theme designer subscribers, the other themes are included in the PrimeNG theme. So all of the variables are here so that you can find all the variables like bootstrap, material themes, like all the SAS variables plus structure here. In addition, Nano, Mira, and Soho themes are only available to, they are not in the npm distribution of the PrimeNG. So let's pick the Prime One Lite. Okay, now on the left part, you will see that I have the variables that are exposed from the theme, like font family, global text color, border radius. So let's increase the border radius to 6, which is quite trendy these days, that most of the websites on the web are increasing their border radiuses. So text color, let's make it a bit darker. This is the global text color, and secondary text color is the kind of muted one. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So the primary color is where you can find it on, the buttons, or the color that identifies the theme. So let's choose a different color. I like purple these days, so I'm just going to choose purple. So you see that buttons are immediately being moved to purple. So the text on primer is the text color that will be displayed when the background is primary. So the highlight background is used when something is highlighted. Let's say here you see that when I'm checking things, or from drop down I'm just selecting an item. It's kind of bluish color. So let's use a similar color. So I'm just going to tone it down, maybe a bit more. Okay. And let's keep it as it is. Text on highlights, we need to work on it, but we need to always consider the accessibility as well. So I'm just going to keep it a bit darker. Sorry, that's the highlight background. So let me get this color here, move to the highlight background, which doesn't let me, I guess. That's interesting. Okay, I will just copy it manually. Okay, let's tone it down. Okay, I think the text on highlight should be darker for accessibility. Okay, looks good. Let's move on to the focus outline. Here, when we focus on something, usually we put a ring outside. That should be something close to what we have. Okay. And the hover background is when an item can be highlighted or selected, we apply the hover class. Default is this gray. I think I will just keep it as it is. I just uh, like hovering things with the gray tone. So surfaces, header surface. Let's see what kind of header we have here. Probably on the panels, when there's a header, we can play with. Okay. And the content should be white, probably. Maybe I will leave the content as white as well here. Just want to create a clean theme. And the borders, I like the borders of this theme. Maybe just for maybe we can make them more apparent, right? Okay, they're they're more apparent now. The forms. Okay, let's move on to the forms. Here we have the background of the inputs are usually white. And you know, the PrimeNG components also have the field mode. So when you apply the p input field to an ancestor, any component inside will have this field mode, right? But therefore I'm just going to keep the forms as white. Borders, let's make them more apparent as well, because we've done the borders of the content more apparent. Hover borders. So whenever I hover a form element, usually we apply a color that's suitable to the primary color. Let's pick the primary color as well. Okay. Now the hovering is this purple. The focus border as well, that's the border when the item is focused. So, okay, looks good. And the buttons for this one. So I'm not going to style all the buttons, but you know, secondary buttons, success levels. So let's make the green one a bit lighter, and success text should be darker, let's say, for accessibility, and so on. The info, success and warning messages we have here, and these variables apply to these. So let's make the blue more blue. Okay, maybe a bit lighter. Okay, looks good. You know, the timeline, the things like that, the hovers, they're all now are getting it from the theme. So once you hopefully spend more time and put more effort into creating your own theme, we can just go, and I'm going to show you how to use this one. There are a couple of ways. Since now we are using the visual designer, we are just going to click this download button. So it downloads the theme CSS files. All right, so I have downloaded the theme, and now I'm going to apply it to the PrimeNG showcase. First, I'm going to open a theme, and any name should work. Let's say my theme, and let's move this theme CSS file to here. Okay. Now, there are a couple of ways to include this file, like Angular JSON, but I like using the stylized CSS where everything is referenced. So the Angular JSON styles configuration imports this file, and this file is responsible for importing other things. So let's write import assets, components, themes, my theme, theme.css, and let's run the PrimeNG showcase. So this is the same application that you see online when you visit PrimeNG showcase. And now I'm going to apply my purple theme to the PrimeNG showcase to see how the components look. Okay, so I have applied the theme, so I just run it with ng-serve. Let's start with input text. So this is my input text with my theme, right? Let's check out the buttons. Okay, I have my purple button here. Let's see something that we can highlight. Okay, It works. So, I mean, we haven't spent much time, but it looks kind of good. The panels, okay. You remember that we removed the background color of headers, and they look good. We also changed the messages a bit. Info is a bit more darker, and so on. So that's it for now. So as I mentioned, this is a series. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to use the code editor, so that you can create this. We are going to recreate this theme from the code editor, and which will provide a faster and more powerful way of developing. And in the upcoming videos, I'm going to cover how to apply fonts, custom fonts, and how to distribute this your custom theme among different projects and more things. And we will also cover material bootstrap themes a bit more as well. So that's it for now, and see you on the next PrimeNG theme designer video. Thank you.